A woman shouts down with the Communist Party in Tiananmen Square. While Chinese cemeteries are congested, collective sea burials in Beijing have a waiting list that extends until 2025. The documentary exposes CCP's genocide actions. Russian boss calls for Australia to sanction those involved. The era of China's World Factory has come to an end. Sandstorm hits Beijing for the 6th time this year, while snow falls twice in April in Hubei. China's public toilet paper scramble stunned foreign netizens. It's all covered in today's China Truths. A woman shouts down with the Communist Party in Tiananmen Square. Under the totalitarian regime of the Chinese Communist Party, citizens were compelled to take up arms against their government. On April 24th, a video clip that quickly went viral on social media platforms depicted a woman breaking through a barricade and shouting vehemently in Tiananmen Square, "Down with the Communist Party." At present, the exact timing, individuals, and circumstances surrounding the incident cannot be confirmed. However, the video has stirred up a heated debate among Twitter users. Numerous Twitter users expressed admiration and support for the woman's bravery. User Ishan Yugong called the video the strongest voice of the era. Wolfgang regretted that there were no men in China brave enough to stand up against the CCP. User William Lee asked, "What law did she break?" There is no political party that cannot be overthrown. Ko Bai Shiyuan, meanwhile, invoked historical examples of peasant uprisings and revolutions in support of the woman's actions, writing, "Every resistance and oppression is for a greater struggle in the future. When the north wind blows, the waves beat the waves." While some netizens cautioned that bringing down the CCP would require organized effort, not isolated acts of defiance, user HP Yenyong praised the woman as a female warrior. User Xiaomin Peng wrote, "Unscrupulous and perverse actions will eventually arouse resistance. The Gang of Four and its backers are a precedent." And user Jean Wan warned that the rage of the oppressed was a wildfire that could not be quenched. The strict anti-epidemic policy enforced by the CCP during the COVID-19 outbreak has led to numerous humanitarian disasters. As a result, China has seen incidents of people openly resisting the ruling CCP in recent years. On October 13, 2022, Peng Lifa from northeast China hung a large slogan with red letters on a white background at the Sidong Bridge in Haidian, Beijing, calling for an end to the CCP's dictatorial regime. The slogan, which reads "Strike to remove the dictatorial traitor Xi Jinping, and if you don't want nucleic acid, you need to eat. If you don't block and control, you want freedom. If you don't lie, you want dignity. If you don't want the Cultural Revolution, you want reform. If you don't want leaders, you need votes. If you don't want slaves, you want citizens," has caused a stir in China and around the world. Peng Lifa's slogan has become a symbol of the white paper revolution that spread across many cities in China at the end of November. The revolution was triggered by an incident that occurred on the evening of November 24, 2022, when at least 10 people died in a fire that broke out after the gate of a residential area in Urumqi, Xinjiang, was locked with wire due to the epidemic. This sparked protests in various parts of China, with people chanting the slogan "Xi Jinping step down, the Communist Party step down" in Shanghai. In February of this year, retirees in Wuhan and other parts of China staged protests against the reduction of medical insurance and called for an end to the reactionary government, which became known as the White Hair Movement. Earlier, on March 30, 2020, Zhang Wenbin, a young man from Shandong, released a video in which he publicly called for an end to the CCP's rule and the removal of Xi Jinping from power. Zhang's video and the subsequent protests are indicative of the growing resistance to the CCP's totalitarian rule among the Chinese people. While Chinese cemeteries are congested, collective sea burials in Beijing have a waiting list that extends until 2025. China has been hit hard by a 3-year pandemic that has resulted in a significant number of fatalities. The outbreak reached a critical point in December of last year when the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, decided to maintain the lockdown. As a result, a large number of people infected with the virus lost their lives, and there has been a surge in demand for burial services, leading to cemeteries becoming a scarce and expensive commodity. In response to this issue, the Chinese authorities have encouraged sea burials as an alternative. Despite this, there are still long queues for collective sea burials in Beijing, with bookings currently stretching out until 2025. There are two types of sea burials in China: collective sea burials and private, custom-made sea burials. According to Sino-Singapore Jingwei, the funeral home office in Beijing's eastern suburbs has reported that registering for a sea burial requires queuing, with a current wait time of 1 to 2 years for collective sea burials. While private sea burials are available at any time, with a cost of 380 yuan for each boarding family member, booking early is recommended as slots are typically filled by April. However, the rapid pace of urbanization and a burgeoning elderly population have created a scarcity of cemeteries in China, driving prices to over 100,000 yuan, approximately $14,550. Shanghai officials predict that at current rates, available cemetery space will be depleted within 15 years. In response, the CCP has introduced the Rich Nutrition and Low Burial Initiative. Speaking at a press conference on March 31, Wang Jinhua, director of the Department of Social Affairs of the Ministry of Civil Affairs, announced that 26 provinces across China have issued guidelines for ecological burials. The cost of ecological burials varies according to location and specific specifications, with prices ranging from 16,800 yuan for an individual tree burial to 65,800 yuan for a double flower bed burial in the Beijing area. Sea burials are relatively cheaper, costing approximately 10,000 yuan. The CCP's Ministry of Civil Affairs has reported that the cremation rate rose from 47% in 2015 to nearly 59% in 2021, but traditional burial of urns still prevails. In response, local governments have started to incentivize ecological burials by offering cash rewards to families who choose them. Tomb Sweeping Day, an important festival in China for honoring ancestors, was marked by a collective sea burial ceremony for 79 recently deceased individuals. The Suzhou local government reported that each family received a subsidy of 2,000 yuan for participating in the ceremony. The documentary exposes CCP's genocide actions. Russian Abbas calls for Australia to sanction those involved. Uyghur activist Russian Abbas, who was once nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, recently visited Australia and attended screenings of the documentary In Search of My Sister in multiple cities. The film not only tells the story of Abbas' sister who went missing in Xinjiang but also exposes the Chinese government's genocide actions against the Uyghur people. Russian Abbas attended a screening at the University of Sydney on the 24th and stated in an interview with our news station that the message conveyed by the documentary In Search of My Sister is about the threat to human freedom. She stated, "If we allow the Chinese government to continue their genocide against the Uyghur and Tibetan people, as well as openly violate human rights in Hong Kong, then the Chinese government will continue to extend its reach to other regions, and the next generation of humanity will pay the price." The documentary mentions that in September 2018, Russian Abbas spoke publicly for the first time about the human rights situation in Xinjiang in the United States. 6 days later, her sister Gulshan Abbas was taken away from her home in Urumqi, Xinjiang by Chinese police. The Chinese authorities refused to disclose Gulshan Abbas' whereabouts and did not arrange a public trial. It wasn't until 2 years later that Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin publicly stated that Gulshan Abbas had been sentenced on charges of participating in terrorist organizations. The case of Gulshan Abbas exemplifies the Chinese government's use of arbitrary detention and false accusations to silence dissent and suppress the Uyghur people. The situation in Xinjiang has garnered international attention and has led to calls for action to be taken against the Chinese government's human rights abuses. The documentary In Search of My Sister sheds light on these issues and serves as a powerful tool to raise awareness and advocate for change. Mehmet Salepsi, a spokesperson for the Australian Uyghur Association, told our station that all democratic countries around the world must put a stop to the Chinese government's acts of genocide. He stated, "The people in Xinjiang are suffering from severe abuse, women are being forcibly sterilized, people are being killed by authorities, forced labor is being imposed, children are being separated from their families, language and religious rights are being deprived, and people's actions are being highly monitored with no freedom. If we continue to remain silent, this evil will spread throughout the world. The era of China's world factory has come to an end. For many years, the mainland has served as the world's leading factory, but with rising wages, declining relations between the United States and China, and decentralized supply chains, multinational companies are increasingly turning to Southeast Asia, India, Eastern Europe, and even Mexico. Chinese companies are also considering setting up factories overseas to remain close to market demand and meet consumer expectations. According to a report by the South China Morning Post, Xie Luo, director of US-based consulting firm Kearney, notes that many mainland manufacturers are actively exploring the establishment of production lines abroad to address supply chain challenges and political risks. An anonymous supplier of electric vehicle charging components admitted that European customers are pressuring them to establish new factories overseas if they don't want to lose their business. The recent departure of foreign companies from China has had a significant impact on the local economy, resulting in the demolition of the dormitories in Yukon City, the first residential area constructed for Foxconn employees. Recently, Chinese netizens have shared videos revealing the current state of Yukon City, which once was a bustling hub of noodle restaurants, supermarkets, KTVs, and esports hotels with nearly 100,000 residents, but the commercial streets now lie empty and the shops are closed. On March 19, a video was uploaded on the internet showing a large number of employees at Foxconn's Zhengzhou campus, which once employed 300,000 people, preparing to evacuate with their luggage. While many workers have resigned, some have been relocated to other Foxconn campuses in Wuhan, Jinan, or India. The dismantling of production lines and the dismissal of temporary workers have also been reported at Chengdu Foxconn and Shenzhen Foxconn. Some employees speculate that as Foxconn India expands its recruitment by 200,000 people, Foxconn China will inevitably lay off a significant number of employees. As the global supply chain undergoes a reshuffling, India emerges as the primary beneficiary, with Southeast Asian countries like Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Indonesia also favored by manufacturers. Eastern Europe and Mexico, which are close to major consumer markets in Europe and the United States, are also chosen by many companies. Sandstorm hits Beijing for the 6th time this year, while snow falls twice in April in Hubei. Under the rule of the Chinese Communist Party, the ecological environment is becoming increasingly deteriorating. On April 25, northern China was hit by a sandstorm for the 6th time this year, with Beijing being the latest city affected. In addition, abnormal snowfall occurred in several provinces in April, with Hubei experiencing 2 instances of snow. On the morning of April 25, the Beijing Meteorological Observatory issued a blue warning signal for sandstorms, predicting that there would be sandstorm weather in the city from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. that day. On the same day, Caixin News published photos of the Military Museum of the Chinese People's Revolution in Beijing shrouded in haze, and reported that this was the 6th time that Beijing has experienced sandstorm weather this year. Videos circulating online also show that the capital of Inner Mongolia, Hohhot, was also hit by a sandstorm on the same day. The city was shrouded in yellow sand and the sky was dark, with low visibility. The date on the video's upper left corner shows April 25. According to previous reports by Chinese media, as of April 19, Inner Mongolia had experienced 8 sandstorms. The above news shows that more than one city in the north experienced sandstorms on April 25. However, apart from Beijing, there are few reports from other areas by Chinese media. In addition, abnormal snowfall has occurred in several provinces in China in recent days. A video shows heavy snowfall in the Shenanjia Scenic Area in Hubei. The video shows a sign for Tianyan No. 4 Bridge. The Tianyan tourist area is located northwest of the Shenanjia Forest area. The person who posted the video said it was filmed on April 23. On April 2, Wuhan City in Hubei Province experienced heavy rainfall, thunderstorms, strong winds, and hail. Some citizens even captured footage of snowflakes falling from the sky. Local experts debunk this as not snow, but rather small ice particles. As China's southern regions are about to enter the scorching summer, snow in April in Hubei was deemed unusual. Apart from Hubei province, on April 23, Luoyang City in Hunan province also experienced snowfall. Moreover, since April 20, regions such as Gansu, Ningxia, Inner Mongolia, Shaanxi, and Shaanxi have also experienced snow or rain turning to snow. Among them, many areas in Shaanxi have seen heavy or even extremely heavy snow, with snow depth exceeding 10 centimeters, breaking the local record for the deepest snow in April. China's public toilet paper scramble stunned foreign netizens. A well-known Chinese human rights activist, Xing Jinyan, shared a video on Twitter on April 24 that showed a group of middle-aged men and women scrambling to grab newly replaced rolls of toilet paper outside a public restroom in Chongqing, China. The people continued to grab the toilet paper until there was none left, without taking any paper inside to use. The video quickly went viral and left many foreign netizens astonished. According to Xing, who is currently in exile in the United States, the video was filmed on April 21 in Chongqing, where the public restroom's toilet paper had just been replaced. Xing said, in less than a minute, the large roll of toilet paper was all gone. In the post, Xing recounted advising a Western Falun Gong practitioner who was traveling to Beijing in 2001 to bring their own toilet paper. The advice puzzled this person, who asked why 3 times. Xing explained that public restrooms don't provide toilet paper, and even if they did, people would take it home. Xing admitted that she felt ashamed, as people would still take the toilet paper home despite the situation. Now, 22 years later, public restrooms do provide toilet paper, but people's behavior has not improved. Upon seeing the video, many foreign netizens expressed their amazement. Some question why toilet paper in Chinese public restrooms is placed outside, prompting several Chinese netizens to explain that this prevents theft. One user commented, placing it outside is to prevent stealing, otherwise, providing a roll in each stall would be too costly, and it would be impossible to know who took it. Others added that it is a cost-saving measure and that the goal is to promote an image of civility, similar to that of Western countries. In reality, the practice of taking free toilet paper from public restrooms for personal use is not new in China. Chinese official media has criticized the phenomenon, and many internet users there have lamented the decline in civic engagement among their fellow citizens. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.